I'm going to be absolutely honest. I'm not sure whether that was the best episode of the season or the absolute worst. Let's talk about it. Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. Enjoy the video. That's right guys, today we're going to be talking about episode 9 of The Purge, entitled I Will Participate. This episode, okay, like always, and I feel like a freaking broken record at this point, but I think it needs to be said. We're going to start this by talking about Miguel and his story, his inevitable, endless quest, it seems, to find his sister. Even after he found his sister, he's once again on the prowl for her. But this time, they really decided just to, you know what, whatever. They could do whatever they want with Miguel, and they're going to team him up with Pete the cop, who, at least in my opinion, has not really been the driving force of entertainment this entire show, and this episode really proves it. I mean, the last scene we see of them, there's just it's just like a crescendo of this is just getting bad and worse, and like it's really dumb, terrible television at this point. I don't know why like they're doing this. They can't leave well enough alone just having Joe go through the motions after they set up a pretty awesome cliffhanger last episode. But I understand that, because we'll get to that point. I understand why they need to pad it out with other things going on, and how Miguel is once again looking for his sister, and I guess, you know, we'll see how it all kind of comes together at the ending of next episode. But basically, we have Miguel realizing that Penelope is gone yet again. He goes and talks to Pete the cop. He's going to go after Joe, but Pete stops him, and he has some kind of weird technological cop-like technology. I don't even know, but it comes up with like everything they need to know about Joe. Like even a picture of him. It seems really futuristic, and that's not the only really futuristic thing they do with their story, or even just like they have either skills or technology to help them in one way or another in this episode, and that's why it's really, really dumb. Anyway, they find his house, they go to Joe's house, and before they go in, Miguel realizes that there's C4. He knows how to disarm it, apparently, because he's a Marine. He even has to say he's not a bomb tech, but he can disarm it, and then it just kind of cuts to commercial. And then he comes back, and it's like, yeah, they're in the house. That wasn't really a big deal, so just extra added tension, maybe just to show that Joe has really thought things over, except for the fact that he put a bomb, or at least probably multiple bombs, in his house, knowing that his dad is there, and he doesn't want his dad to die, so that's really dumb. But they do find his dad, who won't really tell him anything. They go up to Joe's room, and they find everything that kind of gives an idea of not only where he is, but the people he's taken and why he's actually taken Penelope. They set up just briefly with Miguel and Pete that there's a reason he took Penelope that we don't know yet, and it's a little bit dumb. But anyway, there's also this little dialogue between them about who Pete is and why he's so revered in this community, because around the very first Purge, it can't be the first Purge, because we know from the movie and the show that that was kind of limited to Staten Island in the very first Purge, but this must be like the first nationwide Purge. The cops went around trying to dispense justice by just basically purging everybody, and Pete tried to stop them. That's why most people in the community actually like Pete, and they make sure that he's off limits. That is just like 1 minute worth of dialogue and 1 minute worth of time where you realize that they come up upon a roadblock where they're either going to take the car or the weapons or anything else like that. Just by Pete actually just being there and being who he is. They call it Blue Friday. It's still dumb. I mean, I understand it. I guess it's just there to build Pete up, but unless there's some heroic death for him later down the line, which seems to be what they're setting up, I feel like it's just wasted time and wasted opportunity with these characters. Literally, I have to say, when they go downstairs and they talk to Joe's dad, and he's like, "You'll never find him. He thought of everything. Even if you do get to that school." It's like, why are you saying that? They asked where he was. They didn't know. And you told them immediately where your son is. And they have all these guns. They're going to go try to kill him on Purge night. It's just so dumb. I want to like this show, and I feel like the other half that we're going to talk about was way better. It's like, wow, it's like I'm watching two different shows right now. But when they leave the house, Pete has this cringeworthy, you know, we're two soldiers armed to the teeth with a badass car, and we're gonna like run up there. He's not gonna expect us, and we're all gonna kill each other, you know, like whatever. And then they get into the car, and like not a second goes by until like an RPG is just like rushing towards their car. They jump out and it explodes. Rex comes back, the cowboy from a couple episodes ago. We're still not done with this Carnival of Flesh nonsense. Like seriously, let's drop something. We don't need everything coming back at the exact same time in order to make a somewhat of a crescendo of what the finale is going to be. We were there, we've done that, let's get over it. I mean, at this point, they're gonna bring back that whole race where they got the car because they're gonna be mad the car is blown up. It's really dumb. I feel like I'm just bagging on this episode just constantly, but let's get to what actually was the best part of the episode. And what was also a great cliffhanger from last week, and something that I was really interested in this week's episode, and just something I was legitimately interested in. This whole season we've been seeing Joe go in, rescue people, and bring people away from situations where it looked like they were going to get purged. He's looked like the hero. Even in the flashbacks, this guy is just a working, red-blooded American down on his luck, and he's going to listen to these tapes about, you know, tonight's your night to purge, do this stuff, and it looked like, you know, he was the good guy. It looked like he was the good. It was like, okay, they're kind of turning this on their head. They're doing a purge anarchy thing where the good guy ends up going out for his own reasons. It ends up saving people and purging in a nice way or something like that, you know, helping people who need help. But no, that's not what it is. He's the worst. He's just the worst. Even like, I think, you know, you go back and look at what they've tried to do with all the movies, and I think Joe is probably the best villain that they've ever had, because he is exactly what the Purge would bring out in privileged, white, working class men who feel like everybody, even for the stupidest of things, has wronged them, and now it's their time to actually rise up and take advantage of the Purge night. And they would do it in such a self-serving, glorified way that makes them come across as the good guy. It's sickening, and they played it to absolute perfection in this episode. I have to give them absolute credit. The writing for this part of the show, the acting for this part of the show, everything was hitting on all cylinders, especially, as I've said in recent episodes, Amanda Warren, Jane Barber's character. They just gave her the best of lines. I mean, at some point, somebody realized that this was their favorite character, the character we can actually play with the most, and we're going to give her all the best speeches and everything else like that, because she kills it in this episode. But one of the things we get to see is that Joe has taken all these people, he's put them in a cage, and now he's going to put them on trial for all the things that they've done to wrong him. And they kind of go back briefly, re-showing how he's taken these people, where he got these people, and we are going to see, and we basically know at this point how everybody has wronged him. Now we're just leading up to the very end of the season, and we're going to see how it all plays out. But just to kind of break it down, the guy he saved from being beat to death on the road, that was a high school bully, and that was actually a really interesting part for me. Tell me if you think this was going to happen, because I really thought that this was going to happen. He was talking to this bully and talking about how he's making him do his homework and bullying him in high school and all this other stuff, and the whole time the guy's looking at him going like, you know, you have the wrong guy, man. I don't know you. I don't know you. And then eventually he's just like, yeah, I do know you, and I remember you, and I've had a really shitty life. You've had a better life than me, and I've already gotten my, you know, comeuppance for everything that I did to you, so maybe you can just let me go. Obviously Joe kills him, but I was thinking like, man, wouldn't it be cool if like Joe was just so crazy that he just took a random person and like didn't really know? But with everything we saw with Miguel and Pete later on in the episode, it made complete sense. Like, he's been planning this out for a really long time. But anyway, people like James, just a bad date. And you get to see, it's so cringeworthy. Like, he does everything wrong. He's the bad guy in that situation, but he's so self-absorbed. I mean, perfect. It just worked on every single level, and it's the most petty thing that I've seen on television for a long time. And given what they're doing with Joe, given what the Purge is all about, it works beautifully. Honestly, this is like the best thing this show has ever done. At the same time, we have Jenna and Rick. Joe was a subcontractor for them, and they think they paid him, or at least Rick is trying to tell Jenna that he's paid him. I think what's going to come out from there is Rick has been skimming a lot of money so they can live their life and do all this stuff, and they've been kind of screwing over everyone. Jenna doesn't know about it because, as we've already seen, Rick has a little bit of a priority complex when it comes to his own wealth and his family's, his family's needs, other than everyone else, and willing to screw over a lot of people to get there. At least that's my opinion. We're going to have to see what comes up from that, and I think that's what's going to be the start of next week's episode. Then there's 2 other women there. We don't really get to hear a whole lot about them, but it's about his job and it's about his dad's medical condition, as we see throughout the episode. And then there's Penelope. He literally has Penelope in that cage because she didn't thank him for opening up a door. That kills it. That makes it so much better. And as I said, the reason Joe is the perfect antagonist for this series, because he's exactly the crazy dude that would do all of this and go through all this trouble just to be a self-righteous douche. So that's all I really have to say about this episode. Gotta say, half of it was just plain awful. It's just the worst of what the Purge can give us, and the other half, holy crap, that was great. I wish we had actually seen more of that from the world of the Purge so far. After 4 movies and 9 episodes of television, that was great. I feel like it's super truthful to the situation. Just on the last note there, I don't think that Joe actually killed Jane. I understand that's what they're playing it up as, but the other 2 people died in a really brutal way. He just simply choked her out. I think she's going to wake up next episode and she's going to help everyone get out. That's just my thought. She could be dead right now. That would be a complete waste based off everything that we've seen with her character in the last couple episodes. I think she deserves a happy ending after all of this stuff. So tell me what your thoughts are on whether or not Joe actually killed Jane in the comment section below. Guys, what are your thoughts on this episode? Are you like me? It's kind of torn between real good quality and what the hell am I watching? Why am I even still watching this? Or do you think, it's not good at all? Do you like it better than any other show? I don't know. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. It's been real.